This message comes from Jackson. Taxes aren't something you can only think about once a year. With investments, planning for tax day is year-round. Fortunately, Jackson offers tax-efficient products. Visit jackson.com for more information on how our products can make your tax bill a little bit less painful. Jackson is short for Jackson Financial Incorporated, Jackson National Life Insurance Company, Lansing, Michigan, and Jackson National Life Insurance Company of New York, Purchase, New York.
Hi, this is Hannah Berner from Giggly Squad. Have you ever put on a bra that makes you feel like a goddess? Prepare to be obsessed with the Dream Angels Wicked Bra from Victoria's Secret, the iconic brand behind the world's most comfortable bras. And I only wear the most comfortable bras. The bestseller features an innovative sling for perfect lift without padding, and the fit is chef's kiss. Awaken your inner goddess with new colors and super femme lace embroidery. Find out why this bra has thousands of 5-star reviews and counting. Shop it in stores and online at victoriassecret.com.
Hello and welcome back to the Psych Legal Pop Podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about popular culture through the lens of an attorney and a therapist. I'm the therapist, Tess Brigham.
And I'm Brooke Brigham. I'm the attorney.
And we are back with Sister Wives, Season 19, Episode 9, Baptism by Fire. And so we're going to, I guess, divide things up a little bit, though. It seems like maybe the episode sort of naturally takes us in that space because there's the Janelle and Meri conversation. There's Christina and David house shopping. And then there's the infamous baby shower. Engagement party. Sorry. There were so many babies.
Bridal shower.
Sorry. I was getting so overwhelmed with the babies that I kept thinking it was a baby shower, but bridal shower. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, let's start with the most fascinating stuff, the never-ending mystery of, Coyote Pass.
Oh, yes.
The money. So Janelle feels like she has an ethical obligation to warn Meri.
Yes.
About this impending balloon payment and the fact that Kody's not doing anything about it. Doesn't appear to be doing anything. So she says it's like 75 days. The note is due in 75 days. So she treks over to Meri's house and they haven't seen each other in, what did she say? Over a year? Yeah.
I can believe that. Yeah.
Yes. Hasn't seen her in a year. She saw her briefly at Logan's wedding. They probably just waved at each other. But
yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah. They didn't talk, clearly. So, and Janelle doesn't even know that Meri's moving.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Meri, I guess, breaks it to her that she and Kody are officially over. Well, I think she already knew that because she knew about the release, right? I don't know. It's out of, she said she was talking about the release. Janelle was talking about the release in one of her talking heads, but that was filmed later. So I don't know if she does know about it. She doesn't seem to know much about Meri's life.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think these two know anything about each other.
No.
At all. I don't think they know much of anything about what's going on.
No, because Janelle tells Meri that she and Kody are done.
Yeah.
Over.
Yeah. But Janelle, about damn time. I was like, talking about how Meri's loyal to a fault. And she, she is. She is.
Yeah. So, she tells Meri that the note is due in 75 days. Meri seems kind of surprised.
Yeah. That was surprising to me because I would think that Meri would have more of her finger on the pulse of what was happening. But she looked genuinely surprised and genuinely like, huh? What? So it makes me really wonder about, I guess, did Kody just always take care of all of these things?
It sounds like it.
And anytime there was a big payment or something, because it sounds like nobody else seems to know what's going on.
Yeah, no, the impression I got from Meri was that she never really had to, Kody just gave her allowance or whatever. And that he's the one who took care of the finances. And even Janelle, I think we learned that Janelle's role in the finances was pretty much clerical.
Yeah.
She wasn't, I don't think she was down in the weeds of, I mean, I don't know, they showed episodes in the past where she's sitting down at the kitchen table and she's going through bills and talking to Kody about bills. But I think big things, like big decisions and these houses and whatever, I think it was all Kody.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know how much say they had in any of this or how much they knew. It was sort of like, well, Kody and Janelle take care of everything. And between Kody and Janelle is basically, like she says, the bookkeeper. And Cody's making the actual money decisions.
Yes. I don't know. This whole thing seems so hanky. And the other thing I wonder too is, are all of these women from every single job that they had, were they required to put all of that money in this joint account? I'm just wondering for Meri. So then so what happened when she got the money together to pay for Lizzie's? She had to have earned that money somehow. Or gotten the money from somewhere. So I guess I just wonder, is like maybe not all this LuLaRoe money is accounted for. I just wish they would tell us how this all works. I want to know so badly. Yeah. So confused.
That's a good question, because you would think, I mean, definitely in the beginning, I'm sure everyone's paycheck just went into this family pot and Kody managed it.
Yeah.
But when they started making, like Christine and Meri started doing LuLaRoe and then
Plexus.
I think they've done other, MLM things we don't know about. But yeah, I don't know. That's a very good question, because I'm sure Kody wanted a pretty large amount of it to go into the family fund. But
how do you then write you're selling LuLaRoe? Like, that's just you. There's no way Kody to figure out how much Meri was earning or not if she didn't want to share it with him.
True.
I mean, it's not like a regular job where you have a paycheck, where you're expecting that paycheck. I mean, she had a good month. How would Kody know? He wasn't going over to her house.
Right.
So, he wasn't paying attention to, like, wait a second, is that a new shirt? Or, oh, wait, he wasn't looking at her. So how would he even, I guess that was my other, I'm always wondering, like, are some of these women sort of stashing money away this whole time? And are some doing it and some aren't doing it? And
yeah, because even if he had access to their bank accounts, they could always just go and open another one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And put the money in a different account that he doesn't know about.
Yeah. Well, and that's that whole LuLaRoe thing too, right? When we watched that documentary about how once the wife gets into it, the husband then needs to come in and start running the show. And right, that whole thing about how the husbands have to be a part of it. And I think a lot of that is part of this, right? This kind of misogynistic mentality of, right, keep these women down, keep them needing you. And I guess I just wondered if over the years, if they were slowly, each of them like being like, I'm not going to do that anymore.
Yeah, probably, because, and Kody didn't have time. He didn't have time to be up on everything.
Yeah.
What everyone was doing. And, he was spending all his time with Robyn. And so he didn't really know what the others were doing. So yeah. And I mean, obviously Kody had to tell them. I don't think he asked. I think he told Janelle and Meri, hey, we need this money from your house. You'll get it back at some point.
Yeah.
I don't think they did that voluntarily.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, and if he was on the notes, if he was one of the,
He's on the title,
on the title, then he would really know what it sold for and all of that. Yeah.
And remember, I don't know if he was on the title to the Las Vegas houses. I think he was only on title probably to Robyn's house.
No, to Meri, because he was still married to Meri.
Oh, he was still married to her. That's right. Yeah, and I remember Robyn saying that the rest of them were basically purchasing these homes as single women. Yeah. Yeah, and Janelle said that when they bought the house in Flagstaff, she suggested, that they all be on the title because they all contributed to it. And Kody said no. So yeah, he makes the decisions because Meri is super, super clueless. And she says that basically she's not worried about it. That she's sure that Kody is just going to take care of it. And Meri said something about how she thought that Janelle handled the finances, and that I guess like inferring that Janelle was taking care of it,
Yeah.
And Janelle says, no, I'm just the bookkeeper. So Janelle can't quote unquote take care of it, even if she wants to. It doesn't seem like she has access to any money, if there is any.
Yeah, it doesn't have access to it, and also isn't the decision maker. I mean, that's the big thing. Listen, I have a bookkeeper for my business. Like, she sees everything that I'm doing, but she's not saying to me like, why are you spending money over here? Or if I say I want it or even if I tell her I want to claim this like this on my taxes, she can just give me some advice, but it's still on me. So yeah, bookkeeper's kind of a glorified admin. And, but it does make me think about Janelle a little bit differently, because it's a little bit of like, have you just been watching this? Like, if you've been watching him make bad money decisions this entire time and you haven't been saying anything to him, or you haven't been, you've kind of put yourself front and center as the person who was the practical money person.
Yeah.
And I think the other women thought she had more of a say too, right?
Yeah,
just like Meri said.
That's what she said. Yeah.
So there's another part of me that's a little bit like, you're kind of been presenting something to all of us, and it's not really what's going on.
Yeah, because Janelle says that she realizes that Kody's been telling everyone that she was controlling the money. And that's why Meri maybe was confused, kind of like, well, why are you coming to me, Janelle? Isn't this your department? I mean, shouldn't you be taking care of this? And so anyways, Meri seems unconcerned. She even says she doesn't think Kody and Robyn would screw her over. Wow.
Which is just, again, I think we're not quite sure where we are in the time frame here, but I mean, it sounds like she's just been released from Kody a couple months, maybe. And yes, she's still wrapping her brain around all of this, but I'm sorry. This man has been gaslighting you, treating you like crap, pretending that he loved you, telling you one thing, doing another. Both of them, yes. Not just Kody, Robyn too. And so you think those two who have been kind of keeping you in this fold, in this thing, and he said to you, he's fine with lying. He is fine. Cody was fine lying to everyone.
Yeah.
To her,
putting on a show. Or however.
So you don't think that he can then take this next step? Because if he's willing to do that with his wife, his first wife that he's been in this relationship with 30 plus years, if he has no qualms and basically being, doing you dirty there, you don't think he's going to do you dirty with Coyote Pass?
Yeah. You don't think he's capable of that? I mean, he's shown you what he's capable of.
Yeah. Yeah. And trust me, he will. And the other thing too, is I think she's thinking of it in terms of, well, would Kody really rip me off like that? Or would he do that? And it's like, honestly, in Kody, I do believe that in Kody's mind, he probably doesn't think of it as stealing or not being fair. I truly believe he thinks of it as, I'm the head of the house and I'm going to do it this way.
Yeah. He's entitled to.
Yeah. Thank you. He's entitled to it. That's a good way of saying it.
Yeah. So when Janelle realizes that Meri really doesn't know anything, she kind of breaks it down to her and she says, well, you are entitled to 1/4 of the entire value of Coyote Pass, but your name is only on one parcel with Kody and Janelle. So Meri has this real confused look on her face. And then she says, when Janelle's explaining the balloon payment and how, if they don't pay it, they can lose it all. She says, even the parts we've already paid off. So she's under some impression that simply because there's 4 parcels that this isn't one deal. And it is. It's one. I mean, this is a very common thing to have a large piece of land like this especially rural property, and you have multiple parcels, but you sell the parcels as one chunk of land, and it's one contract and one price. It's not like you're putting a price on each parcel. So it's because in the past, other people have owned those parcels, and then people acquire them, and then they put them together. So that's why you can have multiple parcel numbers. Okay, I know this is real boring, like real property stuff.
Real property talk.
Yes, rural property talk. But anyway, I think he's telling Meri that, oh, I've already paid off this parcel or that parcel. And that's just not true. It's not how it works.
Well, I think, right. But I think he probably thought, again, I think Kody thinks he's real smart. And I think he's like, I'm paying off these parcels. Everything's going to be fine. It's gonna be fine.
He doesn't know. He thinks just because there's 4 different legal parcels that somehow you're paying them off one by one. No, it's not how it works. You paid X amount of dollars for all of them together. They all stay together. They all go together. You have to pay the whole thing.
Remember, Kody, when you made everyone go to Vegas? We ride together as a family. That's
where we go one, we go all.
One, we go all. This is how the parcels work as well.
Exactly.
But the other thing that Meri said was that she also, it sounded like maybe they knew the guy that was selling to them, or they had some kind of friendly relationship. And he's like, oh, but they wouldn't do that. Because Janelle's saying, yeah, they can take everything back. And she's like, but they wouldn't do that. I'm like, God, Meri, you're really trusting. Because even I'm not even... Like, I tend to be trusting. And even I'm like, what? You really think that in a business deal, someone's going to be like, oh, that's okay.
That's okay. Just
you only had 5-6 years. That's okay. No, they're going to want to know at the very least, how am I going to get my money from you? You know?
Yeah. Well, and also here's the reality is that if push comes to shove and there is some sort of legal action, clearly they don't have anything in writing about, who's entitled to what. When Janelle says technically you're entitled to a quarter, that's just something Janelle's making up. It's their deal, When Christine forfeited her interest, so there's 4 left. So that's just their informal understanding. And as far as I know, there's nothing in writing to back that up. And so if they had to, sell off the property or whatever, Meri would get 1/3 of 1/4. So she'd get a 12th of the property.
Wow. That's huge. That's a huge difference. It is.
Yes. And Janelle's name is on 2 parcels. So basically she would get a quarter of the whole thing. And of course, Kody's name is on every single one of them. So, this is what happens, ladies. When you are a little too trusting. And and she says Kody sometimes has to be creative in financial situations.
Yes, rob Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah.
But I mean, listen, we've all had to move money around, right? Like money that's in the savings account that's earmarked for taxes or I don't know, like savings or rainy day or whatever it is. Yeah, you got to move money over and get the money and all this kind of stuff. But these are, this is a little different. This is a tremendous amount of money, and you've got other people involved. And I don't know. That was one thing that, so Janelle has been making the rounds on the podcast. She was on Kate Casey's podcast. She was on Heather McDonald's podcast. And I didn't listen to the Kate Casey interview, but I did listen to the Heather McDonald interview. And that was one thing that Heather brought up, which I thought was a good point. And I think that which was this idea of, wow, it was a lot to undertake to buy land and buy land that had no infrastructure. No utilities, no nothing. I mean, she was kind of pointing out like how much of a leap that was, and that, maybe this would have in theory, right? They were talking about the drawing that Kody had made, the 3D rendering, and how gorgeous that is, right? The big house and all that. I'm like, yeah, but it's a drawing. Like what it would actually take to make that happen.
Millions.
Yeah. I mean, to get all of the infrastructure, all of it down there.
Yeah, I know.
So it really, I guess that's my other question is, why didn't Janelle or someone else stop him and say, okay, there's no running water. There's nothing here.
It's negligent, honestly, for what these people did and the financial place they put their family in, because, they were already struggling. The marriages were already struggling. They did not want to move. The only person who wanted to move was Robyn. The other wives didn't want to move. Yeah, and they just bought into this, and he had to have that land. They couldn't just move there and, rent for a while and figure out what to do. He had to buy this big piece of land without having anywhere to live. And then they struggled to find rentals and places to live. I mean, it was absolutely insane.
Yeah. Yeah. Hold on. Again, back to the creative financing, all because of, this is your theory, which is you believe that they had a big balloon payment coming for these houses.
Yeah, they're running from one to the next, one balloon payment to the next.
And again, we were talking about this before we started recording. It's just like, it is going to be fascinating to see if Kody and Robyn can come up every month with 20 grand, because no matter where, listen, they sold the other house. And so they, this new house that they just bought, even if they had the $400,000 to put down, or they got the money somehow, they still have to come up with a good 20 grand a month, every single month. And there's just no way. There's no way. He's the king of balloon payments. Do you know what I mean?
And that's 20 grand just for the housing costs, plus the rest of your life.
Yeah. Like the cost of the house, and we're talking about like maintenance and taxes and all that, maybe 18, I don't know. But that is like, you haven't even eaten yet.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I don't think there was much equity in that, in the first house. That's just.
But even let's say they had $500,000 worth of equity, right? So 400, I mean, even if someone gave that to them, so let's say they have $500,000, that's how many months of mortgage? Like 20 into, right? That's what, 25 months?
Well, for every 100,000, it would be 5. So, but yeah, 25 months.
That's 25 months. So basically you would then use all of your equity from this other house that actually you should technically be using for investments, because the two of you are in your 50s and you should be like thinking about that. They're going to use all that money in 2 years. There you go.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I don't know what jobs they're going to have when the show ends. The show is going to end eventually.
And the cameos. I mean, what? He charges $100, $200 a cameo. How many cameos do you have to do to get $20,000 a month?
A lot.
Like 2,000 cameos. Am I doing the math right? Hopefully I am.
Yeah. No, it's really,
it's just frustrating. It's like, I feel like a pit in my stomach.
I know.
I'm not even involved in any of this. And it makes me so anxious, all of it. And how clueless Meri was. I was kind of hoping this conversation would have been a little bit more women empowered. Like, yes, Janelle and Meri, come on.
Yeah, I thought that they were going to join forces. But no, it almost seemed like Meri was like, why are you telling me this? What's going on? Kody's just going to take care of it. And then Janelle realizes, she's like, well, I hope Meri doesn't tattle, go and tell Kody that Janelle's going around saying this stuff. Like, you're not going to take care of it. And that's the other thing. If he had so much money, he wouldn't be down to the wire, basically, a couple months before this balloon payment. Saying, oh, don't worry,
we have 3 months.
Yeah.
Whatever his comment was.
Oh, we have months. He would say, oh yeah, I've got the money for that. Let's just pay it off now. If you have the money, why wait 3 months? Just go and pay it off.
Well, this is the other thing too about Meri, that I think this is a bit where Meri misses the boat, which is, and I understand Meri and Janelle are not close. I think Meri's kind of like keeps things a little distant. I don't know what happened in the past. I don't know any of that. But here's this thing of like, Janelle's coming over kind of, being a little vulnerable with you.
Yeah.
Like, she's trusting you with this information. She's trusting that you're not going to go back. She's thinking about you. She's trying to, she could very easily screw you if she wanted to. Like, she's trying to think about that. And Meri's response is to kind of back away, to kind of like push her away. It's like, this is your opening. You know, you wonder why you're so disconnected from everybody, but there is a piece of this of like, but you keep people like this. And so I really felt like Janelle was kind of opening herself out, and Janelle wasn't asking for her to spill all the tea of everything in her life, but just a little something.
Yeah. Give her some, you guys have the same interests. Your interests are here, and it's a lot of money on the line. And Meri was so guarded. She didn't want to team up with her at all. Yeah. And it was very clear that she's still loyal to Kody. And it's just going to bite her in the ass.
It is. This whole loyalty thing, I find it fascinating because, right, and Janelle talks about this, like she's loyal to a fault, and in our society, and I tend to be a pretty loyal person, but I do think there is a certain level of, there is a point at which loyalty, there's a bit of like, you know, you need to be loyal and true to certain things and people, but there is a point at which it's not even about your own self-interest. It's almost about like what is right or fair, or, you know, I mean, loyal to a fault, like blindly going down and letting someone else, you know, fry for something they didn't do, or whatever that is, like that blind loyalty that she has. And I guess I wonder if it's because of the just growing up in this world, you know?
Yeah, I don't know what it is, because he's trying to hurt these women with what he's doing. Yeah. And it will hurt them. And this is not a time to be loyal. When someone is trying to take something from you or hurt you in some way, loyalty, please, that goes out the window. Yeah. So I don't know. It doesn't seem like they're going to be able to team up, but Janelle is pressing on.
Yeah, no, Janelle's determined, which she rightly so.
Yeah, can't wait to find out what happens with all of that. But anyway,
well, we get a little bit of a scene in here of Kody. Of course, this is the best, where Janelle's like going over to Meri's house, and then we see Kody like tooling around in one of these ATVs, like
with the snowplow on
with the snowplow, and it's just like, oh, what is that? He is always manically just running around all the time.
And this is all they've got for content. I mean, this is the content, because this was an episode where there was hardly any of the couch, interviews.
Well, because they're finally all in the same goddamn room for the first time, and I don't know how long.
Yeah, we're finally filming together, and this was great. Yeah, and Meri and Janelle filming together. It's like, wow, okay. So there wasn't very much. We're used to these episodes where 50% of the episode is watching Kody sitting on a couch and ranting.
In between that and him like outside with his gloves on, right, and some weird visor or hat, his hair in some kind of look, running around with it like that,
burning
ADD,
things,
like burning stuff, and moving stuff,
yeah. We're used to seeing him outdoors, just wreaking havoc in nature. Yeah, so this is the best they could come up with. They're going to go shovel some snow, and that was a lot of snow. And I don't know anything about snow or how long it takes to accumulate that much.
Sorry, we're Californians.
Yeah. So I don't know how many days had gone by. Maybe there was just a big snowstorm, but it was a lot of snow. They're trying to dig his truck out of the snow, and Ariella, she's just a little Tasmanian devil. I mean, she's just all over the place. She she threw her shovel and it hit Kody's truck, and he's trying to keep his shit together.
Oh yeah, that was a really interesting moment, because he was like, look at me, I'm going to show everyone what a great dad I am. Yeah. Kids, let's do a fun game where everyone shovels snow so I don't have to do it by myself. And here, Ariel, let me dump some stuff on you. And of course she's going to turn around, and she's a kid. Yeah. Of course she doesn't have a spatial relationship of where the shovel is in the car. And he was pissed.
Oh, the look on his face. He wanted to wring her neck.
Yeah, he did.
But he had to keep it together because he's on camera. And she's just laughing, but it's not her fault. You couldn't even see the truck. The truck was covered in snow, and she's little. She's like she's like just sinking down into the snow practically.
But you started it, Kody. If you you started it. You started this thing. So of course she was going to think it was okay to like then throw snow on him. And then she's a kid. Like again, kids aren't coordinated like that.
Well, he got what he deserved there.
Yeah, he did, but he was going to lose his mind. Good thing there was a camera there.
I know, thank God. For saved Ariela's life. Okay, so
let's go to Christine and David.
Yes, they're house shopping.
Yeah. Oh, God, this is all. I'm with Aspen.
Again, we're still they've only been together for, I think, still under 2 months.
It's fascinating to me that their children are so much more mature than any of them. I swear.
Oh, yeah. Well, when we get to the bridal shower, we'll talk about how, thank God Aspen is there.
Yeah.
And McKelty too. The both of them, they understand like what's going on. And anyway, we'll get to that. But Christine says that 5 or 6 weeks into their relationship, they started talking about moving in together.
Yeah. Here's my other thing too is, the best time is when you are falling in love. That is like, I just feel like, Christine, I know you've wanted this for so long and you're trying, it's almost like you have a big ice cream sundae and you're just shoveling it all in. It's like, no,
savor it.
Savor it. Go to your own house, miss him, think about him. Like right now, you don't know like how disgusting he is. Like you don't know, right? You're not cleaning up after him, but once he moves in, you are, right? Like this is the best time. And there's a very, the thing about being in a long-term relationship is you do kind of miss that excitement of someone of newness and, ooh, how exciting. But what you trade it for is security. And because what's so hard in the beginning of a new relationship is, will they call? Will they want? Is this going to work? Is this not right? All of that in between. But there's a point at which in the relationship where you're secure in the relationship and the newness is still there, which is where Christine and David are right now. And it's like, that's prime.
Yeah, the sweet spot.
That is the sweetest sweet spot you can be in. So why in God's name are you rushing this? It's just driving me crazy.
And let's not forget, Truly.
Yes. Truly, well, no, Aspen's thinking about Truly.
Yes, but Christine's not. Because Truly has to move in with David. I mean, I'm starting to feel so bad for Truly. Did I say Trudy? I don't know. Sometimes I say Trudy when I'm...
It's damn that Ace.
Truly.
Ace Fanning.
Yeah. Truly is... Okay. I mean, at this point, she's only like maybe 12.
No.
Because I think she's currently 14 or 15.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because 2020... You're right. So, no, they're beginning... Yeah, she's 12, 13.
She's 12-ish. Okay.
Which I also want to say as a girl...
That's a
12,
hard age.
13, hard ages.
Yeah.
Hard ages.
Yes. And she's lived her entire life in this plural family. Then her mom ups and leaves.
Being filmed. I also want to say that this girl has been filmed her entire life. She has been filmed. Okay. Yeah.
At this point, I think that Christine has been gone from Flagstaff for a year, maybe?
So she left in 2021. This is the beginning of 2023. So yeah, year and a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so she's just been living with her mom and, she's got some siblings around. And now she's basically moving in with a total strange man. Not that he's a total stranger to her. This man who, again, David seems very nice. He's obviously good with kids. I don't care if David is just like the best step parent ever to walk the earth. This is still a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot.
Christine is oblivious. In fact, she's saying she doesn't care how any of her kids feel. Why don't you take Truly with you to go look at houses?
Yeah, that's a crazy idea.
Maybe she can be invested in this. Give her some say.
I think that Christine feels justified in her behavior. I really do. I think that Christine feels justified in the sense of, I endured all this crapola from this guy. It was terrible and it was sucky and it was so hard these years. And now I finally have got someone who loves me. But it's again, I'm not excusing her behavior, but I can see how maybe she's justified it in her mind. But at the same time, Christine, I'm sorry, you're still an adult and you're still a parent.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care. I'm sorry that you feel like you should be able to, just have this amazing, wonderful teenage romance. But you can have that, but you still are a parent and truly does need stability.
Yeah. So this is just hard to watch.
It is. Psych Legal Pop will be back after these messages.
Hi, this is Hannah Berner from Giggly Squad. Have you ever put on a bra that makes you feel like a goddess? Prepare to be obsessed with the Dream Angels Wicked Bra from Victoria's Secret, the iconic brand behind the world's most comfortable bras. And I only wear the most comfortable bras. The bestseller features an innovative sling for perfect lift without padding, and the fit is chef's kiss. Awaken your inner goddess with new colors and super femme lace embroidery. Find out why this bra has thousands of 5-star reviews and counting. Shop it in stores and online at victoriasecret.com.
Let's be completely honest. Are you happy with your job? The fact is, a huge number of people can't say yes to that. Too many of us are stuck in a job we've outgrown or one we never really wanted in the first place. But we stick it out and we give reasons like, what if the next move is worse? And I've put years into this place. And maybe the most common one, isn't everyone miserable at work? But there's a difference between reasons for staying and excuses for not leaving. It's time to get unstuck. It's time for strawberry.me. They match you with a certified career coach who helps you get from where you are to where you want to be, either at your existing job or by helping you find a new one. Your coach helps clarify your goals, creates a plan, and keeps you accountable along the way. Go to strawberry.me/career and get 50% off your first coaching session. That's strawberry.me/career.
And then Christine says, she makes this comment that, she did everything on her own in Las Vegas. Which is true.
Mm-hmm.
And that Kody never helped her decorate or even cared and then Kody comes counterpoint comes back and says, oh no, I was there. I did everything. I picked out everything, blah, blah, blah. But then remember when, Kody was trying to, talk Christine into giving up some of her budget to give to Meri.
Oh yeah.
Because Meri was over budget, Christine was under budget. That's what he was doing during that session when they were picking out the colors or whatever.
And maybe he might have been there and said, okay, yeah, I like the green over the blue, or I like this, or maybe she showed him a couple things. But what she really said was it wasn't to the extent of what he was doing with Robyn. And that is the bottom line of it. It's like in her mind, he didn't do shit because quite frankly, she knew you were phoning it in and that you really wanted to be picking out stuff with Robyn.
Yeah.
So I don't know why these people need a 3-car garage so badly.
Well, I think because if they each have a car, and then I think David has he has those, what are they called? They're not ATVs. They're what are they called? Razors or something, like those big, the recreational vehicles.
Yeah.
It's kind of got like a frame around it.
Yeah. And I guess, again, this is being from California, because out here, you don't have to have a covered garage. You'll be fine. You're not digging your car out of anything. So I guess there for snow, it heats and all of that, right? I bet you always have to have a garage.
He might have a boat or something. I don't know. He's an outdoorsy guy. He probably has several different things he needs to store. So I can understand that. But yeah, so they have some very specific things. They need a 3-car garage, a double oven, and, a big kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
So they look at 3 houses, which they're all in the same kind of subdivision.
Yeah, houses are weird there.
Look the same.
But they're so sparse. It's almost like someone just built a random house and they all look really new. And I don't know. It must be some kind of new subdivision. It's
it's clearly new. There's no landscaping. It's these are newly built houses, but none of them work because they don't have the right combination of garage to oven ratio or whatever.
They didn't list any of the prices, right?
No. No, I would have written that down.
Yeah, I really want to know how much these places cost.
Yeah.
Those are big kitchens, and they all have big islands and look nice.
Yeah, they're nice big houses. So, but yeah, and they're just giddy. Well, Christine, of course, and she was still doing too much PDA, but she wasn't tongue kissing him. She was, but she kept like hugging him, and like the realtor, she's just kind of standing there with her head cocked, just kind of looking at them as they're hugging around over the sinks and
oh God. Yeah, I wrote her name down. Was it Wendy Fullwood? I was like,
let's give her a shout out.
Yeah, Wendy, right, like in the vein of Mona. What's Mona's last name?
Oh, Mona Reiki.
Mona Reiki. Sorry, I can't believe I forgot her last name.
Yeah,
I guess Wendy's like, I'm not going to be Mona. I can't stand these people.
No, I think Wendy is the agent for this subdivision. And so that's why she's showing them all these homes in the subdivision. And she doesn't really care.
No, she was told by one of her bosses, like, listen, we need some PR. Can you get these people, take them on some tours?
Yeah, they're probably not going to buy anything anyway. Just, sign this release and around.
All right. Well, so it's time. It's time
for the bridal shower.
Yes. So,
boy, there was a lot going on here.
Yeah. So everyone's going to Flagstaff for Gwen's. I kept writing engagement party, but it was bridal shower.
I think so.
Okay. Because engagement party.
I feel like they said bridal shower.
Okay. It could be either. So Christine and David and her kids are renting a house. And first, Janelle's kids are going to come by, and Janelle didn't come because Maddie was about to give birth.
Mm-hmm.
So she wasn't there
to come, but then she had to go be with Maddie because the baby was coming early.
So Gabe, he met Gabe and Savannah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Those were the only two of Janelle's kids.
I believe so.
But I remember seeing Hunter.
There.
Yeah, I was going to say I saw Hunter, but I think Gabe and Savannah were the only ones that came early, like the day before, I think, to meet David. Because they had a little separate party with him.
I don't think Hunter wants to be on camera because
I don't get that
they just got a brief shot of him like holding one of the babies.
I was going to say, of course, holding a baby.
Yeah,
every time you see him, he's holding a baby.
He didn't say anything. So I think he probably said, I don't want to be on camera, but they stuck it in there.
Yeah. And we learned that, I guess Gwen told Christine that she was gay in Flagstaff. So then we have this whole discussion about, Gwen and her sexuality and Kody says the most bizarre thing about not judging. He said, God says I judge, but I, Kody, loves.
Well, you're pretty judgy, Kody. I don't know about that. But what was it Kody or Christine who said that basically they already knew she was gay before she came out?
Christine.
Okay.
Which I could believe. That she's always had that vibe. But what Kody was saying was that I guess Gwen said to him, right, I like men and I like women.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah. So she is declaring something, Kody. It's not, she's not fuzzy on this. Like, but he made it seem like she wasn't sure. And it's like, but no, she is sure. She's telling you exactly who she's attracted to.
No, I think what he was saying was that when she first, and I think I've heard a lot of people have the same kind of story, like, especially if you're from a very religious family like this. If you're going to come, a lot of times when people come out, they'll say, well, I'm bisexual, or, they want to kind of slow roll it out and see how people respond. And I think what he was saying was that at first she was being a little not so clear that she's saying, well, I like men and I like women. But then ultimately she was comfortable enough to say, no, I'm, because now I think she identifies as being gay.
Oh, okay.
That's what
I always thought she identified as being bisexual. Okay.
I don't know. who knows? But it's nice at least Kody is being accepting. So we'll take what we can get.
Yes. Yes. And why don't you, stop judging Kody and love like God told you.
That's right. So at first they don't think that Kody and Robyn are coming because he told Gwen that he wasn't coming. And so I think that Christine was relieved of that.
Oh yeah, because, big time.
And then they found out kind of at the last minute that that they were coming, and I guess somebody warned Kody that Christine and David were going to be there. And Christine was not happy that he was coming. She said that Kody and Robyn coming adds a whole other level of complication. So now we've already been through this. What was the last thing where they were together? Oh, the sprinkle, the baby sprinkle.
Yes.
David wasn't there.
No. And this is how, and those babies aren't that much bigger now. So like, this is how quickly all this happened.
Yeah. She may have already been dating him, but maybe just a couple weeks or, anyway. So we know that Christine and Kody are not really great at this co-parenting. This is very new to them. And they're each very resistant to it. In fact, Robyn even makes a comment when she says, well, Christine's going to be there with her boyfriend, and I guess we'll just stay on our side and not bother them. Like she's going into it thinking, we'll just stay on opposite sides of the room like they did at the baby shower.
Yeah. Well, but I think Robyn is still holding on to that moment in the back porch in 2021 where she asked Christine, do you want to have a relationship with me? And of course, this is the thing, Robyn, the woman was just reamed by Kody a minute before you asked her that question. So she was in a headspace of, I don't know any of you people. And so, Robyn is holding on to that. Well, they don't want to see me. They don't want to see us. They don't care about us. They don't want to see us. It's like, no. That's not who Christine is. That's not who she is as a person. But Robyn's the kind of person where you just ask one, like you tell her one thing and she's going to hold on to it and make it be the truth. Anyway.
Yeah. And Kody says, I can't imagine this is going to be a pleasant experience for me and Robyn at all.
Yeah. It's like
they're both going into it being negative. Christine is negative. David's the only one who's acting like an adult. It was so cute. He kept telling the story about how they met and how she was stalking him, and he got this message and he had to pay $60 to get somebody to respond to her message.
The best is I love that he was like, and I paid the least amount of money to get the message.
He's like, I know who this crazy woman is. I'll do the 1 week trial.
I think he was. I think he was like, what's the minimum that I have to pay to read some messages? And I guess he was like, okay, for $60, let me see, maybe this might work out. And it did. It was all good.
Yeah, he said more than once that Christine was stalking him. And she's like, I was stalking him. It's like, well, what does that mean? Like, what were you doing? Were you sending, is this like baby reindeer where you're sending 100 emails a day?
Sent from my iPhone at the end of each one.
I mean, why want to see these messages? My God.
Yeah. Well, I bet you anything. She probably just sent him a couple messages, or maybe because he got off the app, she wrote him back again, or maybe she pinged him again.
Why aren't you
something.
Responding? I sent you a message.
So maybe he was like, oh, well, I'll spend $60. It's Christine from Sister Wives. It'll at least be a good story. It'll be worth my $60 if it doesn't work out between the two of us, right? I mean, that's what I would be telling myself.
It would be a good story.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah.
So, and Christine is very much in her 8th grade girl energy during this whole entire thing.
Well, and this is where Aspen, the adult, says, I like David. I'm happy for my mom. It's just the speed of things. And then she makes the astute point of, my father and mother they do need to communicate and talk about these things. My father does need to meet David because of Truly. It's like,
Thank you. Yeah. She and McKelty, because they were on opposite sides. Kody and Robyn come in and they didn't even move from this. We're still standing in front of the door the whole time, holding the twins.
Yes, each got a baby, and then they would not give that baby up. A goddamn security blanket.
Exactly. That's their security blanket. And Cody's just rocking the shit out of that baby. And the baby is asleep. And it's like, okay, you can stop rocking. The baby's asleep. Okay. Yeah. You're going to give him a concussion. But Aspen and McKelty had to broker this meeting because, they were staying on separate sides of the room. And McKelty is telling Christine, tell David to come over here. And she's like, David, come over here. They're like, you need to meet.
Yeah.
And they had to force them. And then finally David gets up because David knows what's going on.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, yeah, I got to, no better time than now.
Listen, David could talk to a tree because that's essentially what he was doing. This is what really pissed me off about Kody and Robyn in this moment, especially Robyn. Like, you can't come up with any conversation with this person. You can't ask him questions. He's having to volunteer everything just to keep the conversation going. And it's just like, God, people, I mean, at least throw him a bone. Where did you grow up? Where anything?
Yeah, what do you do? Where are you from? Yeah. I mean, Kody did start asking questions to probe about, he said, oh, well, so you've seen the kids before? You've met the kids? He's like, oh yeah, I babysit. And Kody was just like, what the fuck? Like,
well, that's what David was saying. David kept commenting on how Kody kept turning really red, like bright red. I rewound and I looked again.
I didn't see that.
I didn't see it so much as that. I think he might be reading into it, but because I don't get the sense.
On the inside, he was turning red. When he heard that David, Cody's never even babysat these kids.
The twins.
The twins. When he heard that, he got hot.
How those twins are really redheaded. Who has red hair in this family?
I don't know.
Because really, technically, I don't know if McKelty dyes her hair. I know she has dyed her hair, but really, like, all of their kids are very blonde because Christine is blonde and Cody's blonde. But Tony and McKelty together, like, how did you produce redheaded children?
Yeah.
That was so weird.
Only one of them is a true redhead.
And that was the one that Kody was throttling out,
like rocking to death. I don't know. All it takes is like one random recessive gene from,
I guess so,
from somewhere.
I guess so.
I mean, because Christine's kids, Christine's very blonde, but some of her kids are almost like a strawberry blonde. Like Aspen is kind of a strawberry blonde.
Yeah, and I guess Gwen is too.
So is Gwen.
Yeah.
So I can see it.
Yeah.
From somewhere, but
yes.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, Kody and Robyn are not good at making conversation, and thank God David was there to at least. I just felt bad for him because he had to make small talk with these people. And then, I mean, and how many times did Christine say, oh, it's my boyfriend. Meet my boyfriend. David, my boyfriend.
Well, there was another funny moment where Meri makes this declaration of like, I'm not just going to walk behind Kody and Robyn just as like their plus one. I'm coming in first.
I forgot she was even there.
I'm coming in first. And it's like, you know what, Meri, like as a declaration of singleness, like I'm going to come in by myself, but they're right behind her. I'm like, it would be to maybe not come at the same time.
Yeah.
Or like, did you carpool there? Did you both drive and arrive there at the exact same time? I mean, it's a little bit like, then don't drive with them to the party.
Right.
Make your own entrance.
I know. How did they get there at exactly the same time?
But I love how she sees this as like her moment of independence. I'm going to walk in by myself.
Yeah. And the other thing too, that I wrote down, like when Kody was like, how this is not going to be pleasant for him and Robyn. And it's like, well, but your 8 of your children are there. You're going to get to see 8 of your children and your,
and your grandchildren,
3 grandchildren,
claim to love so much.
Yeah. Who you claim to want to mend fences with everybody. Hunter is there. But we never saw any interaction between him and any of his kids, except for Gwen, like briefly, when she showed him her tattoo.
Yeah. Well, we see him hug Isabel. We see him hug Aspen. And Aspen says this. She says that she doesn't see Kody as much and she would like to see him more. But I get the sense that she probably is a little bit like, oh God, okay. The other thing too is, you and your mom live in the same town. Of course you're going to see her more, but I get the sense that maybe even Aspen, who doesn't seem to have a dog in this fight, is also feeling a little bit like, what is going on here? What is happening? Like, my father's so distant and I can't, but my mom, I don't know. I just,
yeah, no, it's
poor Aspen.
It's hard on everyone. And we see a scene from next week's episode where Isabel's crying, saying that she's afraid that her relationship with her dad is just going to end. And it's very sad.
Yeah.
For all of them.
And we don't know how Truly feels about any of these things. We don't know. I mean, we know how Truly feels about the PDA, but like, yeah, I mean, Truly is now going to be living with a strange man that you did not know 3 months ago, Christine. Right. You did not know.
I think it's been less than 2 months, because every time someone asks them how long they've been together, Christine is always trying to kind of pump it up a little bit. And she'll say, oh, almost 2 months, or, so less than 2 months.
Yeah. Well, I will say I was very touched by the, Meri meets David and she asks, how did you meet? And he said, oh, we met online. And she makes a catfishing joke. She's like, oh, that doesn't always work out how you thought or whatever. Yeah. And I thought that, Christine and Meri, like that hug and the cry, and it was very, very emotional. Yeah. I was like, good for you, Meri. Like, let some people in, because again, what I've always seen is Christine may not necessarily always agree with you, Meri, or want your, like, you are always aligned on things, but she does care about you and she wants to see you happy and she wants to see you, in a good place. So that was really nice. But again, Meri's like, doesn't feel comfortable opening up to Christine. She's not in the same place as Christine. And it's like, yeah, I hear you. I know that Christine's really been pushing her own agenda on everybody. That's how Janelle feels too. But it's a little bit like she's just trying to encourage you. Like, she's just saying that right now, this is hard, but it will be better. And I'm just letting you know. That's all.
Yeah. Don't read too much into it, Meri.
Yeah.
She's talking to you, It's like, be happy.
But we also learned that Christine and David are getting matching tattoos. This new beginnings.
Yes.
In Celtic.
Yeah. And I think it's funny that they're doing it, at this this bridal shower in front of everybody, because Christine says that Kody hates tattoos. He's repulsed by tattoos.
Yes.
And she wants us to know. We get to see a picture of David's big arm tattoo.
Yes, it's very sexy. I don't know how sexy that is, but okay.
Not my style of tattoo, but probably got it a long time ago because he's so old.
I know, he's 59. Everyone's like, oh my God, he's an old man, 59. I'm like, you all act like you're spring chickens over here.
I know.
59 is not, if you're 50 something, that's not that old. It's all, maybe to Savannah. David's real old.
Right.
But not to Christine or Meri or any of these other people.
Yeah.
But is it Kody that said something about like, it's cheesy if you got matching tattoos? Didn't he say something like that to Gwen? Because Gwen and Bea, Gwen and Bea, are getting tattoos, but in the same place, but not the same tattoo. And he's like, oh yeah, that would be cheesy. I'm like, oh.
I wonder, do you think when they got their tattoos, did they sit next to each other holding hands? And
oh God, yeah.
Well,
her tongue was right down his throat the whole time. They probably didn't, that the tattoo artist was like, can you stop? I'm going to screw up your thing.
Still, please.
Still, lady. God, I can see your tongue. Stop. Stop.
Well, yeah, I wonder where his tattoo was. They didn't show where he put his tattoo.
Oh, I thought it was in the same spot that she had hers because they both were like kind of on their hearts.
Oh, okay.
Right.
That tracks.
Yeah.
I just don't think we saw his.
And this is the other thing. This is what I wonder too. When Kody said this is cheesy, I wonder if this was something that Christine always wanted to do with him. But then Kody talked about like then tattooing his ring finger. The man who's been so successful at marriage wants to get a ring finger.
Cody, I think you can stick with the one that you can. Don't get Robyn tattooed on your finger.
No, it has been touch and go. And I don't know if Robyn's going to make it. So just
stick with the one you can take on and off.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, gosh.
Okay. And then this is also, Kody had some real winners this one. He also said, I'm here with my shy and pretty wife. She's not shy with me. Okay, Kody. But she's so shy. And I can understand, okay, maybe she's a more reserved person. You can still come up with conversation, Robyn. Like you can still, it was just, the whole thing was so awkward. It's like, why can't you're so shy you can't talk to this person?
Well, and this shy thing is a new thing. But yeah, he also says, I have a special bond with her. And it's like, yeah, we know.
Yeah, that's all you talk about.
Right. But she's not shy. If you go back and you look at the, old episodes, the old seasons, whatever, she was never shy. In fact, she was the one who was always piping up, telling everybody what it's like in polygamy, what it's like in polygamous families, and what polygamous families do. She talked all the time. She never hesitated to give her opinion or say how she felt. When did she become shy?
I don't know.
I mean, whatever. She's, you know what it is? She's not shy. She just can't deal with her feelings in these situations
because she's so
wrapped. How she wanted it.
Yeah. Well, she's so wrapped up in her hurt from the way in which she felt so rejected by Christine. But you're supposed to be this great communicator, like, as Janelle says, Counselor Robyn. You can't approach Christine and say, hey, can we talk about what you said? Like, do you really not want to have any kind of you could just ask because I think Christine would tell you. Did you see how she hugged Meri? Like, and Christine has clarified this in comments many times. She said, no, I'm not saying that I never wanted to see the kids again. I just was saying I just needed a minute because the man that has been treating you, Robyn, like gold and me like crap just told me that it's been a sacrifice to love me and a knife in the kidneys. And quite frankly, I'm not in a great headspace. It was just, like the fact that they can't get that is just, it's beyond me. It's beyond me. But hands down, the best part is when they're all in that corner, Kody is throttling the baby around. They've got the babies. Poor David's coming up with conversation and Christine puts her head on his shoulder and you're like, oh, Christine, why? Why did you do this? And then I start to hear the conversation and it's about the weather. And I'm like, oh my God, about rainfall. And it was like, oh, it's the middle-aged man conversation. I'm like, you guys found something you could talk about, like the weather.
The weather. Yeah, she was rubbing it in his face at that point. She just put her head in the crook of his neck right there and just nestled in. And she's like, this is my boyfriend.
Yeah. And I'm having a great time, Kody, without you.
Yeah.
Or you, Robyn. Or any of you all. I'm just living the best life, Yeah. And she is. Did she say something about like it was a test for David? She's like, oh, it was a test for David. Oh, but he's so solid. I'm like, you guys are house shopping and ring shopping. Test for David.
Test, yeah.
You should, what?
If he still needs to pass some sort of test, then maybe you should pump the brakes. I mean, yeah, David is very solid, more solid than you.
Yeah. And that's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if David at all is turning to Christine and saying, hey, this is a lot. I also think that, again, I'm not saying that this is a prerequisite, but I think the two of us as being children of divorce, father that got remarried pretty quickly, we are very sensitive to these things. We're very sensitive to getting new people showing up and seeing all this stuff. And I do wonder about people who did not have this, their parents weren't divorced. They never had to do any of this stuff. Like, I think a lot of times people are super cash. If you haven't had to go through it yourself, you're super cash with people about it. And I guess I wonder if this is, because David, I would think he'd been dating a lot since his wife passed away. Like, he must have been in these kinds of situations before where you're meeting young kids. Like, you haven't at all turned to Christine and been like, because he seems to be encouraging her. He's going, let's go shopping for rings. Let's go do this. Let's do that. He's participating in it just as much as she is.
Yeah, true. That is true. I guess, I know I think he's in a unique situation too, because, his wife died and left him to care for all these young kids who are now all grown. He doesn't have any minor, I don't think. Who was the kid that went with them to look at wedding venues?
Yes. And
maybe is he still at home?
Well, but if he is, maybe he's like in college or something.
Yeah,
he looked like if he wasn't a senior, he was like maybe in his first or second year of college. And maybe still living like Isabel, like kind of living at home and, like trying to kind of, adult for the first time.
But I think maybe David has seen his kids go through a lot and knows that ultimately they're okay. So maybe he's discounting. I mean, it's a different situation, but yeah, no, you're right. I mean, he is coming up with all of this. He is driving this.
Yeah. Just as, because I don't think she would be, I think, even though she's excited too, he's encouraging it. He's telling her, we got to get a place we got to book a place in Moab.
Yeah.
We got to get this done.
Got to do this, got to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's a lot too. I didn't even think about David, right? Because he's having to backtrack a little bit. Now you're back to having a teenager in your house with Truly there. But it seems like, again, this would all be very different if David wasn't so solid, if they didn't get married, if we didn't know how good he is with Truly. I mean, I think that's like, I think that a lot of times it's very easy to kind of excuse a lot of Christine's behavior because it all did work out really well.
Right.
And David is a great guy and he and Truly seem to have a really good relationship. I mean, at least he's very kind and loving to her from everything that we've seen. Yeah. So, but God, this could have been a disaster.
Then we see next episode, Christine and David do buy a house. And like I said before, Isabel's worried about her relationship with her dad. Meri tells Kody and Robyn that she's moving, which I thought she already did. But
no, she tells the kids, Ariella and Solomon,
okay.
The kids that she sees maybe once a year.
Right. The kids that Robyn says, they're so close to Meri. And dun, 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 David proposes. It's all happening.
It's all happening.
It's all happening.
It is now an hour and 5 minutes. This show technically is like 48 minutes of content.
That, yeah. Yeah. Well, so speaking of some more social media stuff, I saw on Instagram. So David and Christine are on their honeymoon. Right now.
That's right. Yeah, I saw that.
So it looks like they went to Spain, I believe, and so they're on a Virgin cruise, like a European cruise, and it looks like they got Virgin to pay for it because it looks like a commercial.
Oh, well, good for her.
Yeah, because it's like all these scenes, and then it has the Virgin cruise underneath it. It looks like a commercial. So that was good.
Yeah, well, good for them.
Around and got a free.
Yeah. I mean, she did a whole spread with people, right? I mean, she's made some money from that.
She's done a couple. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the other thing too, is Christine actually has really monetized this. And that's very, very smart.
Yeah, she's
again, I'm glad it all worked out.
Relationship.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad it's all worked out and it's all good, but yeah, she really has, taken advantage of the fact that, this is something people want to talk about. And,
yeah, people are interested in her.
Yeah. The last thing, do you want to talk a little bit about Maddie's podcast? Because you did listen.
Yeah, I did. I listened to, what is it called?
I thought it was Open Book.
It's like The Authentic Society.
Yeah, but then I thought it was called Open Book, but maybe I got that wrong. Yeah, Authentic Society sounds right, but maybe they thought that wasn't going to work.
So yeah, I think there's just one episode out. Let's see. Yeah, The Authentic Society.
Mm-hmm.
And so she does it with a woman who's a friend of hers. They're the same age. And this woman, let's see if I can find her name. Her name is Jamie something. I don't know the last name, but she has a podcast, a different podcast already.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, they were talking about motherhood, because obviously Maddie is about to have her fourth child, and this woman doesn't have any kids yet, but she's thinking about having kids.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were just talking about different things about motherhood. And Maddie brought up that basically she was so parentified as a child that she doesn't really make her kids do anything. Like, she doesn't want them to really have to do any chores, or that they're not responsible for taking care of the siblings or doing stuff for the siblings. And she says, I realize that's not good. Probably should give them some little chores to do. She said that she started changing diapers when she was like 6 or 7.
Wow.
For like Gabe and Savannah.
Mm-hmm.
So when Gabe and Savannah were little, and I think they're just like 2 years apart. During that, a lot of that, when they were, after they were both, or after Savannah was born, Kody and Janelle split up for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And they all went to go live with Janelle's mom. And Janelle was going to school full time and she was working full time.
Mm-hmm.
And Maddie was taking care of those younger siblings.
Well, and Logan. Yeah, because I mean, we saw Logan getting up.
Yeah, well, Logan, that's a given. He's always. I'm assuming he was there. I'm assuming she.
Yeah, so Maddie and Logan were the parents,
they
essentially.
Were the two oldest, yeah,
and they became sort of the de facto parents of Gabe and Savannah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, but I thought that was shocking. And it wasn't just changing diapers, she was helping with everything. If you're doing the diapers, you're doing a lot of other stuff too.
Well, yeah. And that's the other thing too, is is changing a diaper that complicated? No, but like, you're in charge of this kid, and like they get diaper rash, and you got to change them right. You got to make sure it's clean. It's a lot to ask a 6 or 7-year-old to do. And Logan is 2 or 3 years older than her. And so he's 10. What is he doing at 10? Is he driving them to school? I mean, what is he doing?
Yeah. I think he might be even less than 2 years, because she was talking about their difference in age, and it's less than 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, Maddie's she seems very even keeled and just very normal, and it's only been one episode, but she did say that part of her reason for wanting to do this podcast is to maybe be able to address things from her perspective and point of view, and because she hasn't had a voice.
And she's not wrong, because her father has been saying things about her and making accusations about her and on a public platform, and she has the right to say her side of it. So I'm so confused about this baby thing. So she has 4 kids, or she has 3 kids and she's pregnant with the 4th.
She's pregnant with the 4th.
So this is baby number 3 that she was giving birth to when Janelle couldn't come to the bridal shower.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So baby number 3 and 4 are basically like a year apart.
Yeah.
Well, because it seemed very quick. Yeah.
Because this is the beginning. This
is the beginning of 2023.
Beginning of 2023. We're now at the end of 2024. So 2 years. Apart.
Okay. It just this damn show is so far behind.
It's hard.
I'm so confused about what baby, what's happening.
There's so much time travel. Yeah. And then you don't know when these, talking heads are recorded.
Yeah. And then the other
either.
thing was, remember, Kody says to Janelle, why didn't Maddie tell me she was pregnant again? So he didn't know about baby number 3. And I doubt he knows about baby number 4. I mean, he knows about it now. It's out in the public. But do you know what I mean? It was like, I was like, oh, wow, you really haven't been like, this is the last 2 kids you didn't know anything about.
Yeah. Well, if he follows her on social media, I guess he would have found out that way. Or I don't know who. He was still talking to McKelty up until Hunter. I think McKelty told him a lot of stuff. I'm sure she was the one who called and said, oh, by the way, this party you're coming to, David and Christine are here, So he had that contact, but I don't know what other contacts he has or I'm sure most of these kids, they don't want to be calling up their dad, like, gossiping, as you would say, about other people. I'm sure they just try to stay out of it,
Yeah. But that's the thing. Kody sees anything that's against him as gossip. And it's like, no, they're just stating facts. You're just telling him like, this is what's going on. This is that's going on. And again, I understand Maddie's point of view, which is, listen, I was just trying to have a conversation with you. If you're going to call me the family gossip, then forget it. That would piss me off. That would piss me off.
Yeah.
If I was one of these kids and I was trying to be making peace and being nice and like, being the bigger person and all of this stuff, even though you hurt my mother, I would be a little annoyed. I'd be very annoyed too if you called me that. And I'm just trying to, anyway, God. All right, we got to wrap up. Get all mad about this. Now I'm mad for Maddie.
So I'll continue to listen and report back.
Yes. Okay, good. Boots on the ground there. All right. Thank you. If you're still here, people are just like, what?
This was a good episode. I hope
it was a good episode. Yes. Because everyone was in this, except for Janelle.
All this interaction.
Everybody was in the same room, all the adults. And we need more of this. This is what we need.
Absolutely.
Because this is what the new reality is of their lives. And if this show has always been about showing what this plural family is like, then you need to show us what's the post-plural family. And it is co-parenting. It is kind of figuring out where everyone fits. Again, Aspen seems to know what's going on here. So
thank God.
Anyway, if you are still listening, thank you so much. If you would like to support us, you can leave us a 5-star rating and review. Those always really do help us. Or you can tell a friend and subscribe and do all that good stuff. If you want even more content from us, go check out our Patreon. We have 2 tiers, the $5 tier and the $8 tier. And we do a weekly bonus where we talk about more personal things. Sort of what's on our mind, what's happening in pop culture. We do a true crime for our $8 and we do an Ask Us Anything for $8. And you get all these episodes ad-free as well. And so go check us out there. And I think and go check out our social media. Because we've got a social media person who's doing a great job.
We're actually just doing social media.
Yes,
we've doing it for us.
Yeah, because someone else is doing it for us.
She does a great job.
She does.
Check it out, Instagram and TikTok. So
yes.
Before our TikTok was kind of decent,
and I can
a real active TikTok.
It's so hard to get followers though. Like that's always been it always feels like it's such a 1, 2, 3. It's such a grind.
Oh, on TikTok?
Oh, all of it.
Oh, all of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. It's a lot. You're competing with a lot.
Yes, you are. Yes. So Psych Legal Pop on TikTok and Instagram. All right. That's it. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
This message comes from Jackson. Taxes aren't something you can only think about once a year. With investments, planning for tax day is year-round. Fortunately, Jackson offers tax-efficient products. Visit jackson.com for more information on how our products can make your tax bill a little bit less painful. Jackson is short for Jackson Financial Incorporated, Jackson National Life Insurance Company, Lansing, Michigan, and Jackson National Life Insurance Company of New York, Purchase, New York.
Hi, this is Hannah Berner from Giggly Squad. Have you ever put on a bra that makes you feel like a goddess? Prepare to be obsessed with the Dream Angel's Wicked Bra from Victoria's Secret, the iconic brand behind the world's most comfortable bras. And I only wear the most comfortable bras. The bestseller features an innovative sling for perfect lift without padding, and the fit is chef's kiss. Awaken your inner goddess with new colors and super femme lace embroidery. Find out why this bra has thousands of 5-star reviews and counting. Shop it in stores and online at victoriassecret.com.